He didn't want to be sort of, real, automatically didn't want I always pay attention to how I count the seats to the front. We're getting to
Forward to the tent area here, please. We'll start the ceremony. Thank you. Some of the seats are marked.
Hey, good morning. Bruce Gray, Owen Sound, MPP, Mr. Bill Walker, Mayor of Meaford, Mrs. Barb Clumpus, ladies, gentlemen, family, and friends. Welcome to the Corporal Mitchell Respite Site Dedication Ceremony. This morning, the 4th Canadian Division Training Centre would like to recognize the attendance of Member of Provincial Parliament, the Honourable Bill Walker, MPP, the Mayor of Meaford, Her Worship, Mrs. Barb Clumpus, Commanding Officer of the 4th Canadian Division Training Centre, Lieutenant Colonel James A.J. LaRue, CD, and the Regimental Sergeant Major of the 4th Canadian Division Training Centre, Chief Warrant Officer Anthony S. Mayfield, CD, as well as former Commanding Officer of the 4th Canadian Division Training Centre, Lieutenant Colonel Christian D. Lillington, CD, Mr. and Mrs. Robert and Carol Mitchell, and the Canadian Veteran Freedom Riders. As well, an honourable mention to the Honourable Larry Miller, MP, who is not in attendance this morning due to national obligations. Vail's Point is a seasonal campground in a remote part of the 4th Canadian Division Training Centre on Georgian Bay. 2 trailers were purchased earlier this year to afford military family members and guests a private respite location for members to rest, recuperate, and reconnect with their families. This site is dedicated in memory of Corporal Robert T.J. Mitchell, who was killed in action on 3 October 2016 in the Panjwai District, Kandahar Province, Afghanistan, while defending his observation post from enemy attack. It is an honor to dedicate this respite site in memory of Corporal Robert Mitchell in recognition of the sacrifice he made while serving his country. I'd like to invite the Honourable Bill Walker to come forward and say a few words.
Thank you very much. And before I start, I'll bring greetings on behalf of MP Larry Miller. And he obviously doesn't trust me to wing it because he sent me notes. Good morning. I'd like to start by thanking MPP Bill Walker for reading these remarks on my behalf and would like to apologize for being unable to attend. I'm currently traveling on an international delegation. I am honored, though, to have the pleasure to express that I am very proud that the 4th Canadian Division Training Centre will be honouring the memory of Corporal Robert Mitchell through the dedication of the Corporal Mitchell Respite Site here at Vail's Point. The dedication of the site will serve as a lasting reminder of the bravery, courage, and dedication to service that Corporal Mitchell showed during his time in the armed forces, both at home and abroad. To all of those involved with the dedication of this site and the planning of this ceremony today, congratulations and thank you for a job well done. I offer my thanks to all the servicemen and women here today for your continued commitment and dedication to the protection of all Canadians. Special thanks go to Lieutenant Colonel James LaRue and Chief Warrant Officer Anthony Mayfield for inviting me to attend the ceremony today. As we go forward, we will continue to remember the sacrifice made by Corporal Mitchell and all of those who have fought so bravely to keep us safe. This site will recognize the contribution that Corporal Mitchell made to the Canadian Armed Forces and will honour the memory of a great resident of Owen Sound and a truly great Canadian. Thank you, Larry Miller, MP. And I'll just basically echo everything that Larry said because I don't think I can say it any better than he did. I think the reality, of course, is how much we honour those of you that wear a uniform and those who have gone before with that commitment and conviction to making our country safe, free, and enjoy the rights and liberties that we do in our great country of Canada, our province of Ontario, and for us that are fortunate to live here in Bruce Grey Owen Sound. To the Mitchell family, we just can't say enough. It's an honor truly to be at any ceremony related to as Jimmy or Rob. I was talking to Carol earlier. She said he's got 3 different names. I'm going to have to start switching which name I use. So I'm just going to say Corporal Mitchell. That's easier for me to keep straight. But to anyone who the family continues to have challenges, I'm sure, and a place like this will give you that respite. It'll give you that opportunity. It will be a legacy for all servicemen and women to say thank you so much for all that you do and dedicate to our country. Thank you.
And now I'd like to invite up her worship, Mayor Meaford Ontario.
Thanks very much, and good morning, everyone. You can see me over the podium here. I am standing. It truly is a pleasure for me to have the opportunity, and I take it every opportunity I get, to bring greetings on behalf of the municipality of Meaford to the men and women in service to our country, and to thank you very much for your important work. On this occasion, it is indeed an honor to acknowledge the sacrifices made by our military and their families. Most importantly, to those who have lost a loved one. The sacrifices these families endure can often mean the responsibilities of a military career require distances in time or place from daily family life. And having a special place like this spectacular place here, like Vail's Point, it's so important for these families to regroup for fun and relaxation. The dedication today of this respite in honor of Corporal Mitchell is poignant and very fitting, and I thank you for allowing me to be part of it. Thank you very much for your service, ladies and gentlemen, and to you, the Mitchell family. We truly value and appreciate the sacrifice that you have all made to keep our country safe. Thank you.
And now I'd like to invite up Lieutenant Colonel Lillington to come forward and say a few words.
So, ladies and gentlemen, I don't think we could have a better day than we have right now as far as the weather. For those that have the opportunity to frequent Vail's Point, whether it be in the summer or in the winter, this site was selected by a cast of about 12 people. I invested the trust at the time in the range control staff to make sure, and the Rod and Gun Club members to find the right spot. And I think truly this is the perfect spot for this respite location. Those that know me know that I am big on a soapbox and I love to talk, so I am going to stick to my words and my words only, because I know that there are other people who are going to speak. But I just want to express my gratitude, one, for being here, but two, for everything it takes and took for this location to be put in place. Firstly, I want to recognize the generous invitation of the commander and of the regimental sergeant major. So both to James and Tony, thank you very much for this unique and important dedication. I also think it's very important to note the broadcast of characters on the base and who, in both their official capacities but on their own personal time, made extraordinary efforts to establish this marvelous respite site. I know that the work of Major Mike Plant as the Deputy Commanding Officer and continuing as the Deputy Commanding Officer for the current CO, as well as Master Warrant Officer Glenn Patey, all members of Range Control, the base finance team, PSP management, and many, many, many more that I could name, have moved on and started this area, committed to purchasing the trailers, setting up the area, will be valued by soldiers and families for years to come. Just over 11 years ago, Jim, or Mitch as I knew him, both common names for Corporal Mitchell, was killed in a vicious ambush while his troop was protecting and doing a cordon and security op for a major road that we built in 2006 and 2007 during Task Force 306. They were protecting the engineers, who are near and dear to our hearts and within the Army, because they do the grunt work that established at the time, which was a very important line of communication. And what became known as Route Summit, and further was given different names, both Afghan names and names by NATO. Jim's parents, Bob and Carol Mitchell, faced further life tragedy when they lost their second child and son, Mark Mitchell, on Thursday, December 28th of the same year. Despite their overwhelming loss, their grief, and their bereavement, their exceptional resilience as a married couple of several decades, and their indisputable and genuine love as parents, kept them in fight, honoring not just their own sons, but the sons and daughters of all fallen soldiers, sailors, airmen, and women. They have been affiliated and close to CFB Meaford for many years and are omnipresent at all parades and functions because of their will to continue to be close to the young men and women of this great country who serve and choose a life to serve their country at home and abroad. Bob and Carol know this already, but for the benefit of you all, Jim and I became very close friends in 2005. I didn't start out as a dragoon. When I joined the military, I joined the French regiment. But when I was first posted to the dragoons, one of the first people I met was Jim, and at the time, Trooper Mitchell. And at the time, I was trying to impress my new leadership with my vigor to be part of the regiment. So I joined to do a competition which was known as the Ironman competition, which is a bit of a grueling competition that we do each year, and they still do to this day in Petawawa. But not only in addition to that, we decided that we were going to send a team to go to the 1 Brigade competition, which is called Mountain Man. So I got partnered up with Mitch to be my training partner, which was a mistake for me, because Mitch was an absolute warrior, and he was committed to being the best at everything he did. But what he taught me was, amongst many things as far as fitness, was just the will to continue to always push at every moment, at every day, and that's what he did for 6 months while we trained. I knew for the first day of training that despite being new myself to the Dragoons, I had a lot to learn from Jim as a close friend. Jim was a man of extreme focus and dedication, who knew that his role as a crewman, as a soldier, as a warrior, was what he wanted in life. He was also acutely aware of the meaning of the ultimate sacrifice, something that folks would say without truly appreciating the meaning. These campers and the selection of the location here at Vail's Point was very deliberate, as I mentioned earlier. And I think its sunsets and sunrises and the sharp winter winds that flow up upon these shores are symbolic of all the good and bad aspects that we can all expect in our profession, in the profession of arms. Jim was a great soldier, a brave and selfless individual, an amazing father and husband. My hope is that he will always be honored by those who serve with him and by his country that sometimes gets wrapped around in the chaos of the day. Lost but not forget, my friend. Bold and swift Jim, pro patria. And at this time, if I could just ask if Jim's children could come forward, we have a special presentation. For those that don't know, the Freedom Riders organized. Hey, you want to come up, Carol and Bob, as well? No? So the Freedom Riders are a very important part of our community, and we were very fortunate, as you've seen, with Her Worship, Barb Klumpus, with the Honorable MPP, Bill Walker, and Mr. Miller, who is always present at the base, but unfortunately is committed to an international commitment abroad right now as part of his role as an MP. But through the generosity of a gentleman by the name of Ken Miles, who's retired, a Royal Canadian Regiment member, they put together minis of the medals that your father earned overseas. So the campaign star from his sacrifice medal, but also Task Force 306 was given the Commander-in-Chief Commendation, and at the time, the wound stripe for his injuries. And I want to make sure that you both understand that this is something that should mean and stay with you forever. So actually, I'm going to ladies first. Sorry, I'm kind of traditional with that. I'm very proud to present this. Your father was very special. Sorry, Ryan, I didn't mean to do that. I always like to embarrass people. It makes me feel a little bit more normal. As well for yourself. Remember, your dad was a special man. You'll always be special. To me and to a lot.
Mrs. Carol Mitchell would like to come forward and say a few words.
Oh, Neil. Here, let me hold on.
I don't know if you want to lean on Neil.
It's rough
Yeah.
There might be
Everybody,
someone sturdier like a tree to lean on.
well, everybody tells me I'm short, but I can see over the podium. And you may want to stand up. This is the first time that I've ever spoken that one of the military said, take all the time you want. Oh, I see your face, Judy. I won't take all the time, but first of all, I want to thank the military for honoring my son. And I want to thank all of the people who are here today. Nobody got very much notice, and yet relatives and friends dropped their plans and came. And I am so grateful to all of you for doing that. I also have my grandchildren, 2 of my 3 grandchildren here, and they're such special kids. And I'm so glad that they were able to come and be honored as well. So, and listen to me speak, because usually they have things in their ears and they don't hear me. So this is nice, right? My son was in the Dragoons. Now he did start in, you know, the armed forces have all kinds of initials. So this is PPCLI, right? He started there, and then he transferred to the Dragoons, and the most of his career was in the Dragoons. When he died, we were told that he was slated to go into special ops or something. Special forces. But he is in a special force now. He's in God's army, I guess. When Jim was going to Afghanistan, they spent a couple of weeks at our house, and the day he was leaving to go home, and they asked us not to go to the airport, he came and told me he was really grateful that we helped him with his house, and that his wife would be safe when he left, and he didn't have to worry about it. And then I said, you know, you're going to be all by yourself. And he said, Mom, I'm not going to be by myself. I'm in the armed forces. They're my family. And in my head, I said, fat chance. I'm your family, your dad's your family. And I didn't quite understand it. He told me that he had good training, that he had great weapons and all the other things he needed, and that he had brothers and sisters who had his back, and that he had theirs, and that he would never be lonely. He would always be part of something. I didn't understand that until he died. Because when he died, as someone mentioned, my youngest son also was very ill with cancer and died. And Bob and I were flotsam and jetsam out on the lake. We had wonderful friends who, if we didn't have them, well, right now I'd have no place to go for Thanksgiving or Christmas. But family was different. Family life was different. So I decided one day that, you know what, these guys say that they're family. Now I'm going to make them take a second look at us. And I went to Petawawa and spoke to the CO there. And he said, you know, we can't go and scoop people up. We have to wait until they say, hey, we want to be part of this. And we're glad you're part of the family. And I have to say to you that even though they change every 2 years, and I have to start all over again getting to know anybody except for the padre, they've treated us like family. And we felt a part of something again. And I can't thank you, all of you, enough. I know that we joke and I come and hug you, and I used to wear a lot of sparkles and get them all over you, and and it was fun, but in my heart, you hold a very special place. When I go to a graduation, I see my son, because lots of you are tall too, and he was very tall, and sometimes I see a glimpse of a redhead and think, oh, and my heart just flutters a little bit. It's a wonderful flutter. It's good to know that not only do we remember him, not only do his family, his kids and his wife remember him, but the Armed Forces remembers him as well. When I met you, when you came to camp, you made sure, you didn't come to camp, you came to run the place, you know, but you came to me and told me who you were and that you knew my son and that you had shared moments with him, learning who he was as a person as well as running with him. And it was wonderful to hear some of your stories. Thank you. A lot of you have been with my son and have come to me and shared with me. And I know that was hard for you to do. And I am grateful. My husband and I have shared many Christmas, they're called men's dinner, suppers. And you know, they have a really wonderful ceremony where they have a table that's set for all those men who can't be there and who have given their lives somewhere else. And every year, even though I know that's going to happen, I cry. Because to me it means you care. You haven't forgotten. And you might not know everybody's name, but you know that they served with you and that you care about them. My friends are a little bit like the Army too. They pick me up and make me work and keep me going, and they let me talk to them. And even though it's been, well, we're in the 11th year, some days it feels like it happened yesterday. And they're there to cry with me as well. So when something like this happens, I think the first thing I said, I don't know if I said it to Chris or who it was I said it to, I said, why are you doing this for Jim? I mean, he was just a corporal. He's had so many honors. Why is he having this honor? And you know, you said, well, here we are in Meaford, and your son was here, and he was in the militia, and you are part of our community. Who would we name it after? And my heart just overfilled. So I know that my son would be really honored. I don't know that he would want me to talk so much. He would be saying, it's time now, Mom. So I will walk away, although it's awfully hard to leave this podium. Thanks again. I'm watching.
Now Lieutenant Colonel LaRue would like to come forward and say a few words.
Good morning, Mr. Walker, Ms. Columbus, Christian. It's great that you could be here today. The Veteran Freedom Rider, and last but not least, the Mitchells. Thank you very much for taking the time to come out here to help us commemorate this. You know, I wasn't too sure how the weather was going to be this morning when I got up. My son ran out the front door, as he's liking to do because he's 4, and I was like, oof, this is going to be interesting. But luckily, it's cleared off to allow us to do this and to do this right. As was brought up, not a lot of notice because I think Christian's the one that said the chaos of the day. It's very easy to get caught up in that, and we were trying to find the perfect setting to make this happen, and trying to do everything just perfect. And it was sitting there talking with the DCO, and I was like, you know what will make it perfect? Just getting it going, and just making sure that we take the time to do it, because it could always be better, right? Everything we do could always be better, but you know what? As long as we're doing it the best that we can, then that's what's important, that's what matters. And I think from what we're seeing here, we have all persevered in our different ways to get here, to celebrate this, to make sure that we're doing it right. And you wouldn't even let a bus breaking down hold you back. So just coupling on to what Carol said, why we're doing this. I was thinking about it because, coming up with the right things to say, I'm sure I'm not the only one that finds it hard. So I look at it and I thought to myself, why are we doing this? And it's three reasons, or what I would put out there. The first one is we're trying to recognize and immortalize those who are paying the ultimate sacrifice to do what we do. Okay, it's very easy to sign up to join the military, I think, but it's not hard to do, or it is hard to do the right thing the moment when it counts the most, like overseas. So I think that it is extremely important in the military and just for Canada to constantly recognize the people that when they are called to the task, they will do everything it takes, even if that means, doing the selfless business of sacrificing your own life. And I think that's the key reason, number one, why we do this, because we have to recognize constantly the people that are able to do that. And obviously from all the great words we've heard, and those who knew Corporal Mitchell, he did that. And I think it's very important that we recognize those people. For here as well, and the number two reason is we also have to do that for the family and friends. And I'm talking the global family with the military. So it's not just the people that wear the uniforms, it's the people that used to wear the uniforms, and the family that also, whether you like it or not, you become part of the military, because without the family and without the friends, we cannot do the job we do. So we have to continue to recognize our members and make sure that everybody's provided that opportunity. Because as I tell my wife, as I tell my parents, you guys are in the military too, whether you like it or not, because I am here and you support me to allow me to do what I can do. The third reason why we're here today is, to recognize the linkage between the first two. So recognizing the individual, so Corporal Mitchell, and then the family, is because this is a great spot that we allow our members to go to rest, recharge, and re-energize. And when we're doing that, as you can see, this is beautiful. We don't have anything like this in Alberta, where I've spent most of my career, and I was blown away when I came out here. So I think it's only fitting that we have taken the opportunity to provide something to people that they may not always have access to, like the sailors, to come out here, reconnect, whether it's with the family, with spouses, with kids, or even with friends or other serving members, and just remember why we're in the military, and that is because of that comradeship and giving back to those who were committed to paying the ultimate sacrifice if it comes that way. So with that, I just want to couple on to something that Christian was talking about, and it's the number of people that have been involved in this. As you look around, this was no small feat, and the beautification carries on, and it will carry on. Most of the work has been done by people dedicating volunteer time, whether it's working on the weekends to build decks and get things organized, or like the one feverish day I saw M.W. Patey at Home Hardware downtown, and he was buying barbecue supplies because he needed that stuff there. This would not be possible without the people volunteering their time. So I'd just like if everybody could join me in a round of applause for everybody that's done that. So in closing, I think that this is just incredible. I don't think we can recognize it enough, the work that's gone into this. And my hope is that as this site matures and as people continue to use this as a spot for them to reconnect and re-energize, that they will continue to remember those that have come before us, people like Corporal Mitchell that embody everything that it means for us when we say that we want to go, we want to soldier on and do the business, and just allow us to keep propagating that legacy and that recognition that these soldiers deserve. So thank you very much.
Each place we set it apart. We name it as special. We name it as a place of memory and hope. We have a plaque here that will remain here, that will be a gentle reminder to those who already know and those who come after us, who tell and retell the story. So, I invite you forward. Ground.
Okay, got it.
The words on the plaque say simply what we have said today. Corporal Robert T.J. Mitchell Memorial Respite Site. In memory of Corporal Robert T.J. Mitchell, RCD, killed in action in Afghanistan on October the 3rd, 2006. Bold and swift. On this day, 14 October 2017. I invite you, according to your tradition, to remove headdress, to be at attention but relaxed as we give thanks for all that brings us here. At the going down of the sun and at the rising, those in this spot will remember. If it is not the soldier who most values respite, if it is not the soldier who most seeks rest, if it is not the soldier who most desires peace, it is the soldier's family. May this place serve always to be a place of respite and rest and reconstruction of family ties. This we ask in the name of the one who created us all. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you all.
Thank you so much. You had a special one.
You got to have something for you. Roast your marshmallows or your wieners. Yeah. No, no, no.
No, that's really great, man.
Very nice. Very, very nice.
Oh, yeah.
So you keep the grandkids.
Yeah.
Go wash them
Two-piece?
Yeah, double bunk.
You got your own thing here. You can put the TV in here. Oh yeah, do not touch. Do not touch. Slide in, out.
And they'll have a TV in here and everything.
Yeah, yeah. Right there.
TV go on my shelf.
You mean
That's for your.
USB charge up your phones and iPads.
Yeah, for a week, I mean,
They think of everything.
can't beat that. Yeah? That is great. Oh, good. Good, yeah. Which is nice, yes.
So you got to get them in.
Yes, well, yeah. Oh, yes, yes, I'm there. Oh, well, I'm amazed. Okay. Okay. Okay, tell me, do I have to stay in here?
You don't have to stay.
That was wonderful. Thank you. Well, did you see on that stone the other day?
I know.
I thought